Kansans. And we look back at the life and legacy of the late Richard Donner. Also, ever consider eating your enemies? That's what these divers are doing in an effort to save the world's oceans.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Kansas political icons Bob Dole and Pat Roberts endorse Attorney General Derek Schmidt for governor in 2022. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Tapping our first 7 minutes. 2 Kansans who've represented the Sunflower State in Congress for decades throw their support behind Derek Schmidt. The Republican candidate says he's seeking to make electability his key theme. Schmidt faces former Governor Jeff Collier and businessman Chase Laporte in the primary. The winner will challenge Democratic Governor Laura Kelly's re-election. Bob Dole, a former U.S. Senate Majority Leader and the 1996 GOP presidential nominee, says Derek Schmidt has what it takes to win. Pat Roberts was a 4-term U.S. Senator. He calls Schmidt a, quote, proven winner. The number of hospitalized COVID-19 patients jumped by nearly 27% over the 4th of July weekend in Missouri, a state where immunization rates are still low. Spike in cases led to a temporary ventilator shortfall and a public call for help from respiratory therapists. The Delta variant, first identified in India, is spreading rapidly, straining hospitals in Springfield and raising fresh fears that the situation could soon grow worse as holiday gatherings seed fresh cases. Missouri leads the nation with the most new cases per capita in the past 14 days. Well, if you like it hot, like Michael, we've still got some of that for you, but it won't be the case for long. Michael Hayslip joins us with a first look at the forecast.
I was going to say like a hot tin roof.
I wouldn't want to stand on one today.
At the same point in time, this is kind of seasonable for what we normally have this time of year. But we were talking about earlier this morning, we had temperatures in the mid-60s. Tanya, look at where we are now. We've bumped up some 20 degrees. We're talking about 84 in Oswego, 83 in Lamar, and 83 in Fort Scott as well. So it did not take long for us to go from 60 to 80 almost in the span of 5 hours. And the reason being, high pressure system hanging over the Midwest right there. And as we zoom in on the 4 states, not a cloud in sight. All that buildup that we had earlier this morning, it is now a thing of the past. Beautiful blue skies and a whole lot of sunshine. But what that's going to do is actually give us a taste of what July should be. Our average high this time of year, we should be about 88, 89 degrees. So we're not that too far off, but I want to harken back to last week when that rain would kind of temper us off a little bit and, kind of got to get acclimated to it. Well, guess what, folks? We are going to be in the midst of a whole lot of high 80s, low 90s for the rest of the week. Next shot for rain, that'll work its way in on Wednesday. Rather scattered, not looking at anything serious, and no worry about flooding conditions. That's the key factor. We'll talk about flooding warnings that we have here in just a little bit. But our 7-day forecast shows us that even though it's going to be hot, it is going to be beautiful. It's almost like we captured the 4th of July and we're able to carry that over into this week until we get to the weekend. We'll talk about that in just a little bit as well. That being said, I know that you're going to talk about Elsa. We're going to dive into her. And also, too, remember, Elsa may be an omen. Oh, here, let me get back there. There's Elsa. Elsa may be an omen.
Oh, omen.
For what's to come in the Atlantic. But at the same point in time, I'm too old for this. Lethal Weapon. And this may be their time, but this is my time. Goonies.
All right, we'll explain what he was getting at in just a moment. But first...
But Elsa, right.
Florida is bracing for Tropical Storm Elsa, which could make landfall along the Gulf Coast of the state early tomorrow. As of 8 a.m., the storm was located about 55 miles west of Key West, with winds at 60 miles per hour. But the storm is expected to strengthen today. It'll track parallel to the west coast of Florida with strong wind gusts, heavy rains, and the potential for isolated tornadoes. In Surfside, rescue teams battled powerful winds as they continued the search for victims of the condo collapse. They do not plan to stop unless there is lightning and high winds. Today we remember a movie director who changed the landscape of American popular culture. Richard Donner's many credits include the 1978 Superman with Christopher Reeve, as Michael mentioned, Lethal Weapon and its sequels, and The Goonies.
Yes.
All of which helped set the template for the modern popcorn movie. Well, he died yesterday at the age of 91. Nikki Batista gives us a look back at Donner's legacy.
Easy, miss. I've got you.
Richard Donner will be remembered as the father of the modern-day superhero movie, redefining the genre with his 1978 blockbuster Superman.
Listen, there's something I have to do. I'll see you later.
But it was his range of work over a 6-decade career that cemented his legacy.
I've done some really wonderful films in my life.
Donner started in television, with credits on Gilligan's Island and The Twilight Zone.
I thought I saw something out there.
He established himself as a film director with the horror movie The Omen in 1976 and went on to make classics like The Goonies and the Lethal Weapon series.
Raj, meet your new partner.
The story has grown, it's kept going, it's 12 years with this family.
He was great at action pieces. He was great with stunts and elaborate pieces, but it was really all about human beings. It was the characters that you remember.
Donner and his wife later founded a company that produced hits like Free Willy, Deadpool, and the X-Men franchise. Many who worked with him closely said it was his kindness and generosity that they will miss most.
He leaves a legacy of kind of personal connection. When you would see him in a room, people gravitated toward him. Professionally and personally, I think people in Hollywood are going to feel this gap.
Donner's cause of death has not been disclosed. He and his wife were animal advocates, rescuing dozens of dogs over the years and fighting against the captivity of killer whales. Donner never had his own children, but was known for helping actors he worked with, paying for rehab for one Goonies star and covering college tuition for another. Nikki Batiste, CBS News, New York.
That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at Noon. Divers in Australia are on a mission to save the environment from an underwater pest. And now a number of restaurants are on board, turning the menacing creatures into a seaside snack. And later, we're making not fried ice cream in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. They're small creatures, but sea urchins are causing big problems in oceans around the world. They're destroying crucial marine habitats and stopping other species from thriving. Now, as Tina Kraus reports, environmentalists are turning the tables on their urchin enemies.
Get some nice young urchin.
These divers in Australia are more like fishermen with fins, looking for a good catch.
Sea urchins are moving through these reefs, sometimes in really dense fronts, almost like little armies moving along and clearing everything in their path.
They're collecting menacing sea urchins to stop the spiny creatures from devouring huge amounts of kelp that capture and store harmful carbon dioxide. Divers put the pests on a plate for a seaside snack.
We can eat it and help solve an environmental problem at the same time.
Well known as uni in Japan, some restaurants in Australia are also touting urchins as a delicacy, even to garnish cocktails. But not everyone is feasting on the little critters.
And every time we tell them about sea urchin, they always say no.
In the U.S., Pacific purple sea urchins have destroyed more than 95% of kelp forests from San Francisco to Oregon. A company called Urchinomics is capturing the creatures and selling them to sushi and seafood restaurants looking for new recipes. A worldwide effort hoping to save the oceans one bite at a time. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
They seem like a lot of work to get all of those out. Have to try it though. Well, researchers say sea otters, Michael's favorite creature on the California coast, are also helping to devour some of the sea urchins, eating away at underwater forests. Just one more creature that the sea otters will eat. Still to come on the KOAM News at Noon,
Wow.
Mr. Food.
With all the family barbecues this month, as well as July being National Ice Cream Month, there's sure a lot to celebrate. So grab a spoon and your appetite as we scoop up endless fun.
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
All right, in Tanya and I's defense, we're not here to bury the joke. There's a website called Vox.com, Vox Magazine, VOX.com. And if you search sea otters, it'll give you a little bit of introspective into what I think about those animals. I know that a lot of you go to the zoo and enjoy seeing sea otters. On the other hand, if you'll do a little bit of research on them, you go, maybe not the cuddliest animals in the world. And so that's why Tanya was giving me a hard time about that, and I greatly appreciate that. It's a little joke between us. Live look outside of Television City, where it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous Tuesday. Yeah, we've had little clouds develop, but no precipitation in that, and that's because our humidity is down right now to 49%. We're not going to see a huge drop. That's a good thing, because that will do is keep us from, number one, limited fire conditions. You've got to remember that humidity, it gets down to about 35%. Then we get worried. At the same point in time, if it were sitting about 50 to 60%, well, then it makes a big difference between what it feels like and the actual temperature. So right now, as we sit with 83 in Joplin, 82 in Miami, 84 in Chanute, 81 in Monette, really just take about 2 degrees and bump it up on that. That's what it's going to feel like. So very, very negligible. And look at this swath that we've cut out through the entire Midwest. Nice high pressure system sitting over us in the Skywatch Storm Tracker. It is clear as can be. No worry about precipitation as everything stays way down to the south. What we do have, though, is a flood warning. Yep, still in effect, and you'll notice that lasts all the way until Friday. This is going to be for the Osage River. This is the Taborville gauge. Now get this, flood stage 23 feet. Last check, this thing's sitting at 29 feet, 6 feet above flood stage. That is the lone flood warning that we have right now, as everything else stays way up to the upper Midwest, with a jet stream just going straight from west to east on us, and also thunderstorm activity on the Gulf. Speaking of what is down south, you'll notice when we do the severe thunderstorm risk map, look at Florida. So here's the problem. That would be Tropical Storm Elsa, just over the Florida Keys, about to make its entrance onto the Florida West Coast, and expected to stay a tropical storm for the next 48 hours as it makes its way up the coast through central Florida before it becomes a low-pressure system into the mid-Atlantic. Now, back here in the 4 states, not too bad, but at the same point in time, I want to remind everybody, let's take care of our pets, check on your neighbors as well, and make sure those kids have a whole lot of sunscreen, because we'll be riding high 80s, low 90s for pretty much the rest of the week. Even when we get rain, that really won't show up until we get to Wednesday evening, and nothing severe. Don't have any flood warnings, and look at this. That thing's going to bebop right through. Tanya, usually when we get something like this, we get a little cool down. That will not be the case on this one. If we wait until Saturday, however, get those thunderstorms for the nighttime into Sunday morning, it's going to be a very, very pleasant beginning to next week. This week, though, it is a true taste of July. The heat has returned.
Well, it doesn't, I don't know, like it's hot out there, but it's not, what's the humidity like?
Right,
though?
humidity's not bad. And we're not 18 inches underwater.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, by the time it rains this weekend, we're probably going to want the rain.
Right.
So
yeah, we'll be good.
We'll need
a
little shower to cool off. All right, thanks, Michael. Well, we take this time to honor today's 4th state hero, Master Sergeant Gerald Wiseman in the U.S. Army. The soldier from Carl Junction joined the military in 1953. He served tours in Vietnam, Taiwan, the Philippines, Germany, Crete, Holland, Greece, and in Africa, all the way until 1975. Master Sergeant Wiseman earned a number of honors, among them the Air Force Longevity Award, Good Conduct Award, and the Outstanding Unit Award, with a total of 11 oak leaf clusters. To Master Sergeant Gerald Wiseman, we thank you, our 4th state hero. Want to take the flavor of your ice cream to the next level? Today, Howard shows us how to make his not fried ice cream in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Can you believe it's already July? And unlike last year, That means many of us are getting together with family and friends. And with July being National Ice Cream Month, there couldn't be a better time to stock up since there are so many sales and promotions going on all month long. And if you haven't had a chance to check out all the new flavors and options that have popped up over the last few months, let me tell you, are you in for a treat? Of course, there are the good old scoopable standbys, but what makes these really stand out this year are some of the new exciting flavors that'll make your taste buds stand up and take notice. Looking for a lighter, better for you option? No worries. Imagine digging into a dish of decadent goodness that is keto friendly or one that's sugar free. Yes, that means we get all the taste without any of the guilt. And for those of us who have been wishing for a really good dairy-free or vegan option, the wait is over. And if you love ice cream novelties, there's no shortage of them. Whether it's an old-fashioned ice cream truck favorite, a trendy yogurt treat on a stick, maybe a fancy international favorite, or one that just says, Happy Summer. I promise there's something for everyone in the ice cream aisle. Want to know what I'm serving this year after the burgers and hot dogs? It's a big scoop of ice cream rolled in a cinnamon kiss, crispy, crunchy coating before getting drizzled with honey. I call it my not fried ice cream. And to get the recipe, simply visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, wishing you a summer filled with lots of melt in your mouth ways for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, you can find the recipe to learn how to make that, along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
We'll come back to the 4 states in here in just a bit, but I want you to know that Tropical Storm Elsa now spawning tornado warnings on the western coast of Florida. We're going to have the latest on Elsa at the KOAM News at 5 and 6. As far as our afternoon planner goes, here in the 4 states, we are fine. Whole lot of sunshine, temperatures up into the 90s. Our biggest threat, just simply making sure that we're safe in the heat. Speaking of the KOAM News at 5 and 6.
Yeah, what do we have coming up tonight?
Well, in addition to the latest on Elsa, with more people driving, the summer months are some of the deadliest on U.S. roads. It's especially dangerous for teenage drivers who are more easily distracted and are less experienced driving, of course, but some vehicles can help avoid an accident. We're going to check out a list of new and used cars recommended for teen drivers. Plus, as the Delta variant spreads across Missouri, local health officials see an increase in vaccination appointments. And after maintenance and more employees hired, Miami Municipal Pool finally opens to the public. Hope you'll join us today at 5.
All right, thank you, Dal. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at Noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.